This is Canada. As you know, it's a land of cold winters, warm hearts, and incredible wealth. In all honesty, Canada has quietly risen to prominence as one of the richest nations on Earth. However, if it continues in today's direction, it won't stay this way. Over the last 10 years, there has been a significant economic divide in the nation, and the nation is gradually turning from a great one to a pitiful one. But first, we must comprehend how Canada became wealthy before we can address its issues. You see, it's a tale of abundant resources, wise investments, and a commitment to global trade. Its economy thrived on natural resources. Not exactly the typical foundation of an economic powerhouse, but then things transformed. Canada industrialized rapidly, pioneering new industries like manufacturing and technology. Today, Canada enjoys a high standard of living, a robust social safety net, and a GDP that would make any hockey dad proud. In the upcoming sections, we'll dive into the factors behind Canada's economic triumph. We'll explore the pivotal roles of natural resources, trade, and innovation. Let's be real. Canada won the geographic lottery. Vast forests, shimmering lakes, and enough natural resources to make a Saudi prince blush. These resources formed the bedrock of Canada's early economy. Timber-fueled construction, minerals like gold, silver, and oil drew investment and spurred development. But here's the thing, simply having resources isn't enough. Plenty of countries have resources and struggle economically. The difference for Canada? They manage those resources relatively well. They invested in infrastructure to transport and process them. They developed industries around them. And crucially, they didn't become completely dependent on raw resource extraction. They understood that true wealth came from adding value, from turning raw materials into finished products. This awareness set the stage for Canada's economic diversification and its eventual rise as a global player. Canada might be a big country, but it's got a relatively small population. To truly thrive, they needed to look beyond their borders and enter trade. Canada recognized early on the importance of international trade. They forged strong relationships with key partners, particularly the United States. This wasn't just about selling off their natural resources. Canada focused on developing industries that could compete globally. Think automobiles, aerospace technology, and high-tech manufacturing. This outward-looking approach brought in foreign investment, created jobs, and helped solidify Canada's position in the global economy. But it hasn't always been smooth sailing. Trade agreements can be controversial. Balancing the interests of businesses, workers, and the environment is an ongoing challenge. Still, Canada's commitment to trade has undoubtedly been a key factor in its economic success. Along with trade, Canada also focused on innovation and diversification in their industries. Sure, Canada has trees and oil, but their economy is about more than just digging stuff out of the ground. They've made a concerted effort to diversify and invested in technology, education, and research and development. This has led to some impressive achievements. Canada is a leader in fields like biotechnology and renewable energy. They've fostered a thriving startup scene and attracted top talent from around the world. This commitment to innovation has been crucial for Canada's economic resilience. It's allowed them to weather global economic storms and adapt to changing market demands. By embracing new technologies and investing in its people, Canada has positioned itself for continued growth and prosperity in the 21st century. But in order to foster a thriving startup ecosystem, Canada needs to attract top talent from around the world. And it has downside as well. Remember that high standard of living we talked about earlier? Well, it's getting harder and harder for many Canadians to afford. Because of high number of immigration, the cost of housing, especially in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver, has skyrocketed in recent years. Because the Canadian government has failed to address the rising demand of new houses. This is a major problem. It's squeezing middle-class families, forcing young people to delay home ownership, and contributing to rising levels of poverty and homelessness. The lack of affordable housing is also a drag on the economy. It makes it harder for businesses to attract and retain workers, and it limits consumer spending. Addressing the housing crisis will require a multi-pronged approach. This includes increasing the supply of affordable housing, tackling speculation in the real estate market, and providing more support for renters. Failure to address this issue will have serious consequences for Canada's social fabric and its long-term economic health. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've seen how Canada went from a resource-based economy to a global player. But the journey is far from over. Canada faces a number of challenges in the 21st century. Globalization, technological disruption, climate change, terrorism, and an aging population will all require Canada to adapt and innovate. Canadian politics also need to change its approach, and they need to stop the policy of pleasing minorities to gain some vote share. But with challenges come opportunities. Canada is well positioned to capitalize on the growing global demand for natural resources, clean technology, and skilled labor. The key to success will be making smart choices today that set the stage for a prosperous tomorrow. This means investing in education, infrastructure, and innovation. It means addressing issues like productivity, brain drain, and housing affordability. And it means embracing a more sustainable and inclusive model of economic growth. So, how can Canada ensure continued economic prosperity? It's not about magic beans or relying on politeness. It's about strategic investments and bold action. Here are a few key areas where Canada needs to focus. Education and skills development. Equipping Canadians with the skills they need for the jobs of tomorrow is crucial. This means investing in early childhood education, improving access to post-secondary education, and supporting lifelong learning opportunities. Canada needs to be at the forefront of the knowledge economy. For that, it needs to support research and development and attract and retain top talent from around the world. Today, Canada is attracting many talented students, but it is failing to give them good quality job as per their skill. Investing in clean energy will create jobs, reduce emissions, and position Canada as a leader in the fight against climate change. Along with this, Canada needs to focus more on globalization and look for new markets for trade. It needs to improve its relation with Asian and African countries like India and South Africa. By making smart investments in these key areas, Canada can build a more sustainable, innovative, and inclusive economy that benefits all Canadians. So there you have it. Canada's economic story is one of impressive achievements, but also ongoing challenges cannot be denied. The path to continued prosperity won't be easy. It will require tough choices, smart investments, and a willingness to adapt to a rapidly changing world. But the stakes are high. Canada's economic success has allowed it to build a society that values fairness, opportunity, and a high quality of life. Preserving these values for future generations will require a continued commitment to building an economy that works for everyone. The Canadian dream, like the American dream, is about more than just individual wealth. It's about creating a society where everyone has the opportunity to succeed, regardless of their background or circumstances. By addressing the challenges faced by its economy and embracing a more inclusive and sustainable model of growth, Canada can ensure that the Canadian dream remains within reach for all its citizens. So, what do you think about the Canadian economy? Please share your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to our channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching Global Economics.